Considering the anime that I'm going to be talking about today is the second most popular video on my channel and has been doing really well lately, and after the stellar performances that we have had in the last couple of weeks now, how could I not cover this more? Takt Destiny is going to be a big one this fall, and it's definitely one of the more popular shows currently airing. Mappa and Madhouse have really knocked it out of the park with this one, and if you haven't watched episode 1 yet, you might want to go back and watch my first video talking about it over the summer so you don't get spoiled. Before I get too much further into this, I am going to speedrun my typical intro, so remember the 250 sub goal by the end of the year, the 1000 by Anime Expo next summer, and the full Inori in-person Yuzuriha cosplay at Anime Expo next summer if we get really close hit or break that 1000 sub goal range. Next up is my second channel, LuriTsuN, which is going to be Pokemon only. If you like Pokemon challenges, then definitely subscribe because I will be doing more of those in the very near future. And finally is the 200 subscriber Patreon sub goal. At 200 subs, I will have the Patreon page live. That includes all reward information and what you get for being a patron of mine. So if you want to support me, the best way to do that is going to be Patreon here very shortly. Alright, let's get this show on the road, shall we? In case you forgot, like me or don't already know, this anime is set in America. I was about halfway through the first episode before I realized and remembered this was one of my big talking points over the summer. That video has exceeded my expectations, and I'm just mind blown at how well it has done lately. So thank you all so much for that. Anyways, the fact that this anime is set in America makes it that much more interesting already. How many anime can you name off the top of your head that are actually set in America? Kekai Sensen? What else? Not too many. Our main characters are Takt and Unmei primarily, but we also have Unmei's older sister, Anna, who is an absolute comic relief. Takt is who you would call a conductor, and Unmei is who you'd call a music cart. Together, the two of them must team up to defeat an invasion of D2, monsters that were spawned from a black meteorite that struck the Earth years prior. The D2 despise music and will attack indiscriminately if they hear it. Therefore, all music on Earth is banned. The only hope of bringing music back to the people of Earth is by defeating the D2 for good. Takt is a fairly lazy guy who doesn't wish to expend much energy if he doesn't have to. But the fault doesn't really lie with him, but instead with Unmei, who consumes way too much energy when she fights. Seeing as her main source of power is Takt, well, she doesn't exactly admit fault the way you would expect. As a matter of fact, Unmei is not what you would expect at all. At first, the viewer is left wondering how much of a personality she has, as she seems pretty expressionless. However, I myself was pretty surprised to find she definitely has a lively personality, alright. If I had to sum it up to one type of dere to make it easier to understand, she is definitely a KamiDere. No, that does not mean that she is a communist. Unmei being a KamiDere is not a bad thing, and it fits her very well, to be honest. She's upfront and just doesn't give a fuck. You'll figure this out pretty quickly. Now, here's a fun little tidbit for you. As we all know, Takt Destiny is the name of the anime. I'll give you one guess where that first part comes from. Now, as for Destiny, Unmei is Japanese for destiny and is written like this in hiragana. Normally, you'd probably find it written with these kanji. Every name in Japanese is normally written with some kind of kanji to clarify what specific meaning of the word their name is meant to be. I'll definitely confirm this about Unmei if I ever see the kanji for her name. As for op, I'm not really sure. It could be short for opera, which includes music and is normally associated with mellower music, like classical music, which this anime focuses on. Speaking of music, the music that is played by any character in the anime is classical music, but the OST itself is a normal composition with a mixture of everything. Background music, fight music, etc. So in case you were wondering if the whole anime was going to be classical music, you don't have to worry. Now, I'm not certain if the music that is physically played within the anime was actually composed, similar to a cover of a song in this sense, by someone, or was just inserted in its original form. Which, by the way, I'm actually pretty sure YouTube has Mozart and Beethoven in their content ID system. Yeah, it's copyrighted. Good job, YouTube. If it was composed by someone like a cover for this anime, they do an excellent job. The first song that is played you should almost immediately recognize, and wow, do Mappa and Madhouse really know how to set a scene. Let's talk color, animation, and character design now. The actual background art of this anime, the colors are almost watercolor-like, but at the same time, it's such a smooth palette with beautiful, vibrant colors, even in the middle of a bunch of dirt and sand. The D2 are very colorful and probably stand out the most with their dark blue fronts and light blue forearms and legs with a very bushy white mane. But man, these things are big, and the camera movements during their animation cycles really help to give that effect. Speaking of, the camera movements and angles in this anime are excellent. This anime has its own unique style, and I don't think I need to explain that for you to see that if you've seen the first episode so far, which, by the way, was an easy 9 out of 10 at least. Alright, so character design. There are some rough edges around the characters, but even in the not so important scenes, they still look great. Soft shaded, bright, and very much proportional to the basic human body. We're not talking eyes that are like 3 times the size here, or tails, or ears, or do I need to say it, oversized breasts? Not my cup of tea, maybe yours, but it takes away from the realism in an anime like this and just totally kills any serious vibes when it's just bouncing around all over the place. It may be good for some shows, but not this one. No, Unmei and Anna are very well designed and definitely proportional in all areas that matter. Which is everywhere. Someone probably thought something. What did you think I was going to say? Now, Unmei's eyes may be a little large, but the reddish flare, I don't think it's eyeliner due to the fact that it's always there, I could be wrong, really helps to enhance the turquoise green irises she has. The first few minutes of the anime will have you wondering who the girl in the thumbnails you're seeing is because she sure looks a lot like Unmei. Well, I have good news for you. It is Unmei. However, she doesn't get the pinkish hair unless she's fighting and Takt has begun conducting. I say pinkish because her hair still retains some of that blonde she has and makes for a great hue of a strawberry blonde. She's beautiful, but I guarantee that if anyone came up to her and said that, she'd give less of a damn, which is actually a very unique personality trait because she simply doesn't care. Takt is probably a little more rough than Unmei, but that's because these anime studios have figured out what brings in the views and what brings in the sales. They're pretty savvy with the anime community because they're the actual creators. I also mentioned the fights that we got in the trailer and preview back over the summer gave me Fate vibes, and we'll definitely have to see some more of these intense fights before I can make a solid opinion on that, but from what we did see, even the fights have their own unique style. The dust cloud from the explosion in this clip on screen is a perfect example of this. I can't think of what it reminds me of though. I'll let you all throw some ideas out there, which reminds me, comments are good for the YouTube algorithm, so drop some down below and help a friend out. Back to business, this clip gives me Fate vibes, but perhaps that last scene was more of a studio trigger vibe? I don't know, let's move on. What we aren't told is what kind of an effect using too much power or energy has on Takt or Unmei. Notice this red sort of hue to his skin when he pushes Unmei's power levels up. Takt already gets worn out because Unmei can't properly manage how much energy she's using, but this looks like it could be something more than that. Kind of like a price to pay for great power. After all, if they could walk around and defeat every D2 on Earth, they would have already done so by now. There are still a few unanswered questions to be had for the first couple of episodes, but I kind of like that. It keeps you guessing and will be bringing me back for more every week. This is really more of a Friday anime as when it airs in the type of anime it is, but for a Tuesday airing, it really seems to work out pretty well for it. This anime is already unique, and having it air on a Tuesday is like the icing on the cake. Finally, I should mention the opening is done by Supercell, the band behind Guilty Crown and Ryo's second music act, EGOIST. Funny enough, Supercell is purposely spelled in all lowercase, and EGOIST is the exact opposite. Anyways, this opening slaps, and the general English translation you'll find is incredible. I'll give you my spin on the lyrics if you want, but it'll be at least a day after I upload this before I have them ready if I don't already. Alright, I'm gonna close things out here, but check this anime out. It's worth every last millisecond of your time you'll spend watching it. If you want me to make this a weekly thing too, again, you'll have to comment. I may bulk these up and do a 2-episode review in one video every other week, just so I have enough time to get everything else out. I really do kind of want to make this a weekly series, but Aquatope takes up so much time as it does already. But this anime is also incredibly incredible. So that means if you want me to review these episodes weekly like I do with Aquatope, you have to leave a comment, subscribe, and leave a like. At least leave a comment and let me know that you want to see these more. I definitely would not mind if there were enough of you wanting to see me do this weekly the way I do. Alright, well, there you have it. That is Takt Destiny, and I finally covered it for the first time since, like, July, and I really hope you enjoyed this video as well. Thank you for sticking around to the very end, and I really appreciate you, so definitely make sure you stick around, and I will catch you all next time.